Welcome to Beyond the Smile, the podcast where we dive deep into dental health, nutrition, and everything that makes life more beautiful.
All right, so you're looking to make 2025 the year of your best smile.
Your best smile.
Awesome. We've got a deep dive prep for you based on the latest from Prime Dental Group.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, some of their findings are truly surprising.
Yeah, it's not just the usual brush and floss advice.
Right.
This report goes deeper, revealing the science behind effective dental care and offering some really practical tips.
Exactly. It's like they've taken everything we think we know about dental hygiene and turned it on its head. We're talking about achievable resolutions here, so no need to worry about crazy gadgets.
Yeah, no crazy gadget.
Or anything like that.
Right. It's all about making small, sustainable changes
to
your daily routine, diet, and approach to professional care that can have a major impact on your smile.
Okay, so let's unpack this daily routine.
Okay.
We all know the basics. Brush, floss, rinse.
Yeah.
But Prime Dental Group takes it a step further. For instance, did you know that even the type of toothbrush handle you use can make a difference?
A toothbrush handle.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I know, right?
I never thought about that. But that's strange, right?
It does sound strange.
But they found that a comfortable handle actually encourages you to brush for the full 2 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Which so many of us rush.
Oh, yeah.
And that extra time can make a huge difference in plaque removal.
Interesting. I'm definitely guilty of rushing through my brushing sometimes.
Oh, yeah, me too.
What about the age-old debate of manual versus electric toothbrushes? Does Prime Dental Group finally declare a winner?
Well, they don't pick sides.
Okay.
What's fascinating is their emphasis on technique over technology.
Interesting.
They say both can be effective, but only if you're using proper technique and replacing your brush regularly, every 3 to 4 months for manual.
Okay.
And as recommended by the manufacturer for electric.
So it's not about shelling out for the fanciest electric brush. It's about making sure you're using whatever brush you have correctly.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Now on to flossing.
Okay.
Any surprises there?
With flossing?
Yeah, we know it's important. But does Prime Dental Group offer any insights beyond the usual?
Beyond the usual.
Get in those hard-to-reach places feel.
Well, they actually delve into the science behind why it's so crucial for preventing gum disease and cavities.
Interesting.
They explain how food particles and plaque build up between teeth, creating the perfect breeding ground for bacteria. Flossing disrupts that process, preventing the formation of acid that attacks your enamel.
Okay, that's a much more compelling reason to floss than simply getting those bits out.
Right.
What about people who struggle with traditional floss?
Yeah.
Are there any alternatives?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And Prime Dental Group recognizes that traditional floss isn't for everyone.
Right.
They recommend exploring options like dental picks or water flossers, which can be game changers for people with braces or dexterity issues.
So it's all about finding what works best for you.
Exactly.
And sticking with it.
Sticking with it.
Speaking of options, what about mouthwash?
Mouthwash.
Is it just for fresh breath, or are there hidden benefits we're missing?
Well, mouthwash definitely does more than just mask bad breath.
Okay.
It can actually kill bacteria and help protect against cavities, especially if it contains fluoride.
Speaking of fluoride, the report had this really interesting detail about rinsing with mouthwash.
Oh, really?
They recommend waiting at least 30 minutes after rinsing before eating or drinking anything.
30 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that really necessary? I mean, who actually does that?
Well, it's about giving the fluoride time to work its magic.
Okay.
By waiting, you allow the fluoride to strengthen your enamel without interference from food or drink.
I see.
Prime Dental Group does acknowledge that adhering to this rule can be tough.
Yeah.
But even delaying your snack or beverage for a few minutes can make a difference. They also advise checking the label for alcohol content, as some people find alcohol-based mouthwashes irritating.
Good point. So we've covered the core elements of a good daily routine.
Right.
But what about the role of diet?
Diet.
Can food really make or break a healthy smile?
You bet it can.
Really?
Prime Dental Group goes beyond the simple sugar is bad message.
Okay.
And delves into the specifics of how different foods impact your teeth.
Wow.
Think of food as a tool.
Okay.
It can either help or hurt your smile.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So which foods are our smile's best friends?
Our smile's best friends.
Yeah.
Well, dairy products like milk, cheese, and yogurt. They're packed with calcium and phosphates, essential building blocks for strong tooth enamel.
Right.
They actually help to remineralize your teeth.
Oh, wow.
Making them more resistant to decay.
So that old saying about milk doing a body good actually applies to teeth, too.
It applies to your teeth.
Wow. What about fruits and vegetables?
Fruits and vegetables.
I've heard that crunchy produce can be good for your teeth.
Absolutely crunchy fruits and veggies like apples and carrots act like natural toothbrushes.
Really?
The act of chewing them helps to clean your teeth and stimulate saliva production, which further aids in neutralizing acids.
So they're literally cleaning your teeth as you eat them.
They are.
What a win-win. What about nuts and seeds?
Nuts and seeds.
I've heard those are good for your teeth as well.
They're nutritional powerhouses.
Okay.
For your smile, nuts and seeds like almonds and sunflower seeds are full of healthy fats and minerals that contribute to overall dental health. And their texture can also help to dislodge food particles from your teeth.
So it's not just about what we should be eating,
right,
but also what we should be limiting, right?
Limit.
What does Prime Dental Group have to say about those smile saboteurs?
Smile saboteurs?
Yeah.
Well, while we all know sugary snacks and drinks are bad news for our teeth,
right,
Prime Dental Group explains the why behind it. They highlight a specific mechanism. The bacteria in your mouth feed on sugar,
right,
producing acid as a byproduct. This acid is what actually attacks your enamel and leads to those dreaded cavities.
So it's not just the sugar itself, it's the acid it creates. That's the real villain.
The acid is the villain.
Okay, and what about acidic foods and drinks? Are those a problem too?
They can be, especially in excess. Think citrus fruits, sodas, and even things like vinegar-based dressings.
Okay.
Prime Dental Group recommends enjoying these in moderation.
Right.
And rinsing your mouth with water afterwards to neutralize the acid.
So lemonade is basically a double whammy.
A double whammy.
Sugar and acid.
Sugar and acid, exactly.
And even though citrus fruits are healthy, in many ways, their acidity can erode your enamel if you're not careful.
That's right.
Okay. I'm making a note to be more mindful of. What about starchy foods, like bread and chips?
Bread and chips.
I know they can get stuck in your teeth, but are they as bad as sugary treats?
Yeah. Starchy foods can be tricky because those tiny particles that lodge between your teeth become a feast for bacteria. The bacteria then produce acid, which, as we discussed, can lead to cavities.
Right.
So try to brush or at least rinse after eating starchy foods.
That makes sense. And what about snacking? Is it better to stick to 3 meals a day? Or are healthy snacks throughout the day? Okay.
That's a great question, and one that Prime Dental Group addresses directly. They caution against constant snacking.
Really?
Because it exposes your teeth to a continuous barrage of acids.
Oh.
It's better to give your mouth a break between meals to allow your saliva to do its job.
Okay.
Neutralizing acids and remineralizing your enamel.
So all those little snacks we graze on throughout the day might not be so good for our smiles after all.
Those little snacks.
This is really eye-opening.
Eye-opening.
It seems like even with a perfect daily routine, our diet can still sabotage our efforts.
It's true. It's all about balance.
Right.
Making informed choices that support your overall oral health.
Okay, now speaking of keeping things in check, let's move on to the importance of professional dental care.
All right.
Even with the best at-home routine, those regular checkups are crucial, right?
Right. But what exactly are we getting out of those 6-month visits that we can't achieve on our own?
Good question.
Prime Dental Group dives into this, right?
They do, and it's about more than just a cleaning. They highlight the key components. A professional cleaning to remove built-up tartar, a thorough examination of your teeth and gums, x-rays to detect any hidden issues, an oral cancer screening, and importantly, personalized advice from your dentist.
Okay, so it's a much more comprehensive approach than just getting your teeth cleaned.
It is.
And I love this little tip they threw in.
What's that?
Schedule your next appointment before you even leave the dentist's office.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I know, right?
It's brilliant, right?
It is.
It takes the guesswork out of remembering when to go back and helps you stay on track with those regular visits. Now, I've always wondered, why are those professional cleanings so important? Can't we just brush and floss really well at home and skip the dentist altogether?
Well, professional cleanings offer several advantages.
Okay.
First, dentists have specialized tools that can remove stubborn plaque and tartar.
Okay.
That hardened stuff that builds up over time and that we can't get rid of with just brushing and flossing.
So even with meticulous brushing, there are still areas that need that professional touch. What else?
Dentists can also reach those tricky spots that are hard to get to on our own.
Okay.
And they're trained to spot early signs of gum disease or decay that we might miss.
Right.
Plus, they can polish your teeth to remove surface stains and give you that fresh from the dentist feeling.
Okay, those are some compelling reasons to keep up with those regular appointments.
Yeah, I think so.
But let's be real, sticking to new habits can be tough.
It can be tough.
Does the report offer any advice on how to make these resolutions stick?
They do, and it all comes down to setting realistic goals and making gradual progress.
So no crash diets or overnight transformations?
Nope. Prime Dental Group emphasizes the importance of starting small and gradually building on your successes.
So baby steps rather than giant leaps.
Exactly.
They even suggest breaking down your goals into weekly milestones, right?
That's right. Like we mentioned earlier, focus on perfecting your brushing technique for a week, then add in flossing the following week, and so on.
So it's like building blocks.
Building blocks.
Mastering one habit before adding another. What about tracking our progress? Is that helpful?
Absolutely. Whether you use a calendar or just a good old-fashioned notepad, keeping tabs on your progress can help you stay motivated and identify areas where you might need to adjust your approach.
Because, let's be honest, sometimes life gets in the way and we fall off track.
It happens. It happens to the best of us, but the key is to not get discouraged.
Right.
Just acknowledge the slip-up, recommit to your goals, and get back on track.
And celebrate those small victories along the way. Did the report mention anything about rewards or incentives?
They didn't get into specifics, but they did emphasize the importance of acknowledging and celebrating your progress.
Because those little wins can add up to big results over time.
Exactly. So maybe treat yourself to a new toothbrush or a fancy toothpaste after a month of consistently sticking to your routine.
Or a new book or a movie night or whatever brings you joy. The point is to acknowledge your efforts and make the process feel rewarding.
I love that it's not about punishing yourself for slip-ups, but about creating a positive and sustainable approach to achieving your goals.
Speaking of goals, what are some specific things listeners could focus on as they start to implement these tips?
Well, if you're not already brushing twice a day for 2 minutes each time, that's a great place to start. Make sure you're using a soft bristled brush and proper technique.
And don't forget to floss at least once a day. It's amazing how many people skip this crucial step.
It really is. And if you're finding traditional floss a challenge, explore alternatives like dental picks or water flossers. The key is to find what works best for you.
And of course, schedule those regular dental checkups. If it's been a while since your last visit, make that a priority.
Absolutely. And in between those professional cleanings, be mindful of what you're eating and drinking.
Choose teeth-friendly foods like dairy products, crunchy fruits and veggies, nuts and seeds.
And limit sugary snacks and drinks, acidic foods and starchy foods that can get stuck in your teeth.
And don't forget to stay hydrated. Water is your best friend when it comes to oral health. It helps rinse away food particles, neutralize acids, and keep your mouth feeling fresh.
All fantastic advice. And remember, small changes can make a big difference over time.
It's not about being perfect, but about making a consistent effort.
Exactly. So pick 1 or 2 things to focus on, master those, and then gradually add in more healthy habits.
And before you know it, you'll be rocking your best smile ever.
This has been a fantastic start to our deep dive.
We'll be back with part 2 to delve even deeper into Prime Dental Group's report and explore even more tips and tricks for achieving your best smile in 2025. Welcome back. We're continuing our deep dive into Prime Dental Group's fascinating report on achieving your best smile in 2025.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground in part 1.
Yeah.
From debunking toothbrush myths to uncovering the science behind flossing.
But there's so much more to explore in this section. I'm really interested in delving deeper into professional dental care.
Okay.
Prime Dental Group seems to emphasize preventative care quite a bit, and I'm curious to understand why.
Yeah, that's a great observation. Their report goes beyond just saying, see your dentist regularly.
Right.
It really stresses that those 6-month checkups are like preventative maintenance for your mouth.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like taking your car in for regular tune-ups to prevent bigger problems down the road.
Exactly. And Prime Dental Group highlights that early detection is key.
Okay.
Many dental issues, if caught early on, can be addressed with simpler, less invasive, and less expensive procedures.
So it's not just about fixing problems when they rise, but about preventing them altogether.
Right. Think about it. A small cavity caught early might only require a simple filling, but if left untreated, it could develop into a much bigger problem requiring a root canal or even an extraction.
That's a pretty convincing argument for staying on top of those checkups.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious about something else. Prime Dental Group mentioned the link between oral health and overall well-being. Is there really a connection?
There is, and it's becoming increasingly clear through research. For example, studies have shown a strong link between gum disease and heart disease.
Wow, I had no idea the connection was that significant. I knew gum disease was bad.
Yeah.
But I thought it was mostly a localized issue.
It's more interconnected than many people realize. Inflammation in your gums can actually release bacteria and other inflammatory substances into your bloodstream, which can then travel to other parts of your body, including your heart.
That's fascinating and a little scary, to be honest. Are there any other health conditions linked to poor oral health?
There are. Gum disease has also been linked to an increased risk of stroke, diabetes, and even certain types of cancer.
So taking care of our teeth and gums is about much more than just a bright smile. It's about protecting our overall health, too.
Precisely. And on the flip side, maintaining good oral hygiene has been shown to have positive effects on things like blood sugar control in people with diabetes.
Wow.
There's even evidence suggesting that good oral health during pregnancy can lead to better outcomes for both mother and baby.
That's amazing. I had no idea the impact was so far-reaching. It seems like we often compartmentalize our health, focusing on one area without considering how it might be connected to others.
That's a common misconception, but as research continues, we're learning more and more about how interconnected our bodies truly are.
This has been really eye-opening.
Oh.
Okay, so we've covered the importance of a solid daily routine, a tooth-friendly diet, and those all-important professional checkups. But as we discussed earlier, actually sticking to new habits can be tough. Any advice from Prime Dental Group on how to make those resolutions last beyond January?
Yeah, they offer some really practical strategies.
Okay.
It all comes down to setting realistic goals and tracking your progress. No crash diets or overnight transformations here.
So baby steps rather than giant leaps.
Exactly. Prime Dental Group emphasizes the power of starting small and gradually building on your successes. Remember their suggestion of breaking down goals into weekly milestones.
Right. Focus on mastering your brushing technique for a week, then add flossing the following week, and so on.
That's the idea. It's about creating a sustainable routine that fits into your life rather than trying to overhaul everything at once and setting yourself up for failure.
Makes sense. What about tracking our progress? Is that really necessary?
It can be incredibly helpful whether you use an app, a calendar, or just a simple notepad. Keeping track of your efforts can be a powerful motivator.
Okay.
Seeing those check marks or entries, even for small achievements, can help you stay on track and celebrate your wins.
Because let's be honest, sometimes life gets in the way and we forget or slip up.
Absolutely, and that's okay. The key is to not beat yourself up about it. Just acknowledge the slip up, get back on track, and maybe reflect on what caused you to veer off course.
Maybe we can use those tracking tools, not just to celebrate wins, but also to identify patterns or triggers that lead to setbacks.
That's a fantastic point. For example, if you notice you tend to skip flossing in the evenings when you're tired, maybe try flossing in the morning. Instead, it's about being flexible and finding solutions that work for you.
And what about those little rewards we talked about earlier? Does Prime Dental Group have any specific recommendations?
They don't get into specifics, but they do emphasize the importance of rewarding yourself for sticking to your goals.
Because those small wins can add up to big results over time.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be anything major. Maybe it's a new toothbrush or a fancy toothpaste you've been wanting to try, or maybe it's a small indulgence completely unrelated to dental care, like a movie night or a new book. The key is to find something that motivates you and makes the process feel rewarding rather than punishing.
Okay, so as we wrap up this section on building sustainable habits, what are some concrete steps listeners could take right now to start improving their oral health?
Well, if you're not already brushing twice a day for 2 minutes each time, that's a fantastic starting point. Make sure you're using a soft bristled toothbrush and employing proper technique.
And don't forget the flossing. It's amazing how many people still skip this essential step.
It's so important, and it's worth repeating. Flossing once a day can make a huge difference in preventing gum disease and cavities if traditional floss is your thing. Explore those alternatives we discussed, like dental picks or water flossers. It's all about finding what works for you.
And of course, schedule those regular dental checkups. If it's been a while since your last visit, make that a priority.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, be mindful of your diet.
Right. Choose those smile-friendly foods we discussed, dairy products, crunchy fruits and veggies, nuts and seeds.
And try to limit sugary snacks and drinks, acidic foods, and those starchy foods that tend to get stuck in your teeth.
And don't forget to stay hydrated. Water is a true ally in maintaining good oral health.
All fantastic advice. And remember, consistency is key.
It's not about being perfect. It's about making that consistent effort to care for your smile.
Exactly. Pick one or two things to focus on, master those, and then gradually add in more healthy habits. Before you know it, you'll be well on your way to achieving your best smile ever.
And speaking of achieving your best smile, we've got one more section to explore.
We'll be back shortly to wrap up our deep dive and leave you with some final thoughts and inspiration from Prime Dental Group's report. Stay tuned.
And we are back for the final part of our deep dive into Prime Dental Group's report on achieving your best smile in 2025.
It has been a fascinating journey.
It really has.
We've gone beyond the usual brushing and flossing advice and uncovered some truly surprising insights.
Absolutely. From the importance of toothbrush handles to the link between oral health and overall well-being, there's been a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
And of course, we've explored practical strategies for turning those insights into sustainable habits.
Right.
So as we wrap things up, I wanted to circle back to something that Prime Dental Group emphasized throughout their report.
Okay.
The power of prevention.
The power of prevention.
Yeah, I remember them mentioning that investing in preventative dental care now can save you a lot of trouble down the road.
Exactly. They suggest shifting our mindset from reacting to problems to actively preventing them.
Yeah, it's like the old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Precisely. Think about all the time, money, and discomfort we often spend fixing dental issues that could have been prevented or caught early with proper care.
Right. Fillings, root canals, crowns.
All of those.
Those procedures can be expensive and time-consuming.
And not to mention the anxiety many people feel about dental visits.
Yeah.
Imagine if we could minimize those stressful experiences by simply taking better care of our teeth in the first place.
So all those seemingly small things we've been discussing, brushing, flossing, eating a healthy diet, seeing our dentist regularly, they can actually have a huge impact on our long-term oral health and well-being.
Absolutely. It's like investing in a high-quality car. If you maintain it properly, it's going to run smoothly and last for years.
Right. But if you neglect it, you're bound to face costly repairs and potentially even a breakdown.
And the same principle applies to our teeth. By prioritizing preventative care, now we're setting ourselves up for a lifetime of healthy, happy smiles.
And isn't that what we all want? A smile that not only looks good, but also feels good and supports our overall health.
I couldn't agree more so. As we conclude our deep dive, I encourage you to take all of this information and make it your own.
Yeah, and don't feel overwhelmed by trying to change everything overnight.
Start small, pick one or two things to focus on, and gradually build from there.
Remember, consistency is key.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to experiment and find what works best for you.
Maybe you'll discover a new flossing technique you love, or find a brand of toothpaste that makes you excited to brush.
The point is to make oral care a positive and enjoyable part of your daily routine.
Because taking care of your smile is an investment in yourself, your health, your confidence, and your overall well-being.
So here's to a future filled with bright, healthy smiles.
Cheers to that, and thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of dental care. We hope you've learned something new and feel empowered to take charge of your oral health.
If you're looking for even more in-depth information, we highly recommend checking out Prime Dental Group's full report.
It's packed with research insights and practical tips that can help you achieve your best smile yet.
Until next time, keep smiling.